Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Boost. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's been a hot discussion in South Asian football for years, the stagnation of the South Asian Football Federation, SAFF Championship, and why it's time for South Asian football to take a big leap forward by either merging or working much more closely with the Asian Football Confederation AFC. Now, the question we have to ask is, why has South Asian football remained stuck in a cycle for over 2 decades? Why are the same teams facing each other year after year in the SAFF Championship with limited growth or exposure? Let's get into it. Let's take a step back and look at the history of SAFF. For the past 20 to 25 years, the SAFF Championship has essentially been the same 5 or 6 teams facing each other: India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. Sure, there have been occasional upsets or surprising performances, but the general pattern is that the same teams fight for the top spots with very little change in how they perform on the continental stage. This repetitive cycle has created a sense of stagnation. The competition is predictable and the level of football has remained quite similar over the years. While other regions like Southeast Asia, East Asia, and the Middle East have seen tremendous growth in football, South Asia seems to be left behind. Why is that? The lack of football development. One of the biggest reasons for the stagnation of South Asian football is the lack of proper development systems. If we take a look at countries like Japan, South Korea, or even China and Vietnam, we see a clear pattern. These countries have invested heavily in football infrastructure, coaching, youth development, and grassroots programs. South Asia, on the other hand, has faced challenges. While there's no shortage of passion for football, the systems needed to nurture young talent, provide coaching education, and ensure competitive leagues have not been as strong or widespread as in other regions. The SAFF Championship, while important for regional unity and pride, has not been able to provide the level of competition needed to push these teams forward. In fact, it's somewhat of a comfort zone where teams like India and Bangladesh often face each other without any real challenge from the wider footballing world. This limits exposure to high-level international football, making it harder for South Asian teams to break into the next level. Why SAFF needs to merge or collaborate closely with AFC? Now, we need to address the question, what can be done to fix this? Should SAFF continue in its current form, or is it time for a more strategic shift? I believe that a closer collaboration or even a merger with the AFC could be the turning point that South Asian football needs. Let's break down why this could work. Stronger competitions and increased exposure. First, the level of competition in the AFC is much higher than in SAFF. Teams like Japan, South Korea, Iran, and Australia regularly compete at the World Cup level and have much more sophisticated football systems. South Asian teams are often left out of such high-level competitions and struggle when facing teams from outside the region. By merging or collaborating more closely with the AFC, South Asian teams would have the opportunity to play against teams from across Asia, including stronger nations from East Asia, West Asia, and Central Asia. This increased exposure would provide South Asian teams with a competitive edge they need to improve. Rather than facing the same teams in a small regional pool, they would face tougher opponents, which would help them grow. Take India, for example. India regularly competes in the AFC Asian Cup, but apart from that, their experience against teams from the Middle East, East Asia, and Southeast Asia is limited. A closer relationship with the AFC could open doors for more such competitive fixtures, which is essential for any team that wants to improve its standing on the international stage. Investment in development programs. One of the key reasons behind the success of other Asian countries is the heavy investment in football development. In Japan and South Korea, for instance, there's a strong focus on youth academies, grassroots initiatives, and long-term plans to produce world-class players. South Asia could hugely benefit from these kinds of development systems. If the AFC works more closely with SAFF, they could help bring better coaching programs, youth development schemes, and modern football infrastructure to the region. Imagine South Asia having access to AFC-funded programs aimed at nurturing young talent, improving facilities, and even bringing in world-class coaching resources. The AFC already runs such initiatives across Asia, but South Asia has often missed out. By working more closely with the AFC, South Asian nations could have more access to these vital resources, leading to long-term improvement in the footballing ecosystem. Increased financial and logistical support. Another crucial factor is funding. The financial aspect of football is often the difference between success and failure, and this is where many South Asian countries struggle. But the AFC has the resources, and they've shown time and again that they can make investments to improve football infrastructure across the continent. With SAFF aligning more with the AFC, countries in South Asia could gain better financial backing, which could be used to improve leagues, attract better players, and create stronger domestic footballing environments. More commercial investment, better facilities, and better management of football competitions would transform the landscape of football in South Asia. A unified vision for South Asian football. South Asia is diverse, and its footballing cultures differ from country to country, but there's a shared passion for the sport that can be harnessed. A closer relationship with the AFC could bring together the diverse nations of South Asia under one unified vision to improve the game. By aligning goals and pooling resources, we could create a football ecosystem that nurtures both talent and interest in the sport. It's also important to note that a unified vision doesn't mean losing the unique identities of South Asian football. Countries would still have their individual leagues and competitions, but working together with the AFC could provide the structure and support needed for all of South Asia to thrive. Of course, merging South Asian Football Federation with the AFC or even just increasing collaboration isn't without its challenges. For one, the footballing standards and infrastructures across South Asia vary greatly. Some countries, like India, have a more developed system, while others, like Afghanistan or Nepal, still face significant challenges. There are also cultural and administrative hurdles that need to be overcome. But these are not insurmountable challenges. With a clear strategy and long-term investment, these differences can be bridged, and South Asian football can begin its journey toward becoming a more competitive and successful force in Asian football. In conclusion, it's clear that the SAFF Championship, as it stands, has served its purpose but has reached its limit in terms of improving South Asian football. The region needs exposure to higher levels of competition, better infrastructure, and more investment in youth development. By merging or collaborating more closely with the AFC, South Asia could achieve all of this and more. It's time for a new era of South Asian football, one that's competitive, developmental, and globally recognized. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe that a merger or closer collaboration with the AFC would benefit South Asian football? Like, subscribe, and share this video if you want to see South Asian football reach its full potential. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.